How do you identify? Is this an important label for you?
Right. So my name is Eden. I use she, her, and he, him pronouns. I identify as, I'm still figuring it out at the moment, but at this point in time, I identify as non-binary and a woman. So, and to an extent, gender fluid. And my identity as an artist and a drag performer is definitely important to me. Mostly because it's what I do and it's what keeps me excited for living and producing work. So that's really important to me. And also identifying as a woman and non-binary is really important to me because it's what's bringing me joy at the moment. It's a huge part of my life at the moment as I'm going through my legal name change and also my starting hormones. So it's really important that I'm making sure that I maintain that happiness to me at the moment.
When and how did you realize that you were LGBTIQA+? How has your cultural background impacted your experience?
So I found out when I came out as gay when I was 14 years old. You know, every parent, most parents have the talk with you and they say, oh, when you're this age, you're going to be noticing more girls and you're going to be interested in girls, whatever. And I was in school and I was like, well, I can notice more boys. I don't know what's going on here. Like something's off. And, you know, after a bit of time to reflect, I realized that, oh, it's because I'm gay. And then I came out to both my parents and I was really emotional and really scared about it, but they were both quite good about it. And culturally, it didn't really do anything. I'm just not out to extended family, not even about my transness right now. So I don't think that culture, my Chilean background actually factors into why me coming out. But when I was 17, I came out as a trans woman, and I was told to keep it away from my dad and my mum. There was a bit of confusion and conflict there. And then I dropped that identity for a bit of time, and then I picked it up just recently this year, where I started going by Eden. I experimented with different pronouns, and I'm now at a point where I'm like, I identify as both a woman and non-binary. So it's come full circle, and still getting around to parents because that's a pretty tough conversation as I've just started hormones and legal name change. So I'm getting there, but it's still coming together. It's still I'm still trying to find a way to tell them in a way that keeps the peace.
What is your connection to this area and when did it start?
I don't feel a wider connection to this community. City of Casey. I mean, it happened recently last year. No, I haven't felt a real connection to this community until sometime this year when I was working on the Casey Rainbow Picnic alongside City of Casey and Casey Rainbow Community and Cilantro Community Hub. I reached out to Joby Petty, one of the coordinators at Casey Rainbow Community, and I helped put on the performers finale where I brought in some local performers and they put on a little show to end the picnic. Because it wasn't until my friend linked me with Joby that I realized that there are more people like me down here at the city of Casey, and there was a need for events and representation for people like me. So I haven't felt a sense of connection until I reached out and I started getting in touch with all the people who were like me. So until then, I always seeked outside of the city of Casey to find a sense of community. It's only recently that I realized that there were people like me here.
What do you like about living, working, studying, or visiting this area as an LGBTIQA plus or ally?
As a LGBT person, I like this area because as much as I haven't felt that sense of community for a long time, when I did, it's been incredibly welcoming. It's very warm. It's very understanding as well. I find the right people are very willing to learn and embrace you, which I never thought that would be possible in a place like the suburbs, but it is, and it's really affirming, and it's lovely to know that support is available here when for the longest time I didn't seek that support here. I went out of the city of Casey to actually feel that support. So it's really warm, it's really inviting, but it's also very accessible, which is really also just an amazing feeling to have that access to community and acceptance.
What do you not like about living, working, studying, visiting this area as an LGBTIQA plus or ally?
So I've said before, as an LGBT person, it hasn't been very accessible to reach the facilities and the sources as an LGBT person that you may need. So I go to a doctor in Paran to get my sexual and gender health all checked, and I go to a place in South Melbourne to get where I got my hormones, and I did my doctor's appointments in regards to my gender. I found that the doctors down here or closer to down here are actually not equipped with that kind of catering towards LGBT people. I've always had to seek that outside. I'm a drag performer, so I've been very lucky to have opportunities to perform here. But if there are any queer-friendly bars and cabaret venues, I'll have to go closer to the city. So it's not that I dislike being around here, it's that the accessibility is not always available to people like me. And if not, to be fair, it's already so hard to find the right sexual and gender health clinics. I've had to consult a few others to, know that I'm on the right path to getting the right health facilities that I need. But yeah.
What do you think are the most important issues facing LGBTIQA plus and their allies today?
So as an LGBT person, but I mean, I can also put my identity as a person of color here, is that I'm an advocate for people who are marginalized in our communities. And I think both as a person of color and an LGBT person, I need people to just listen and just be open to learning, and also know your place in these conversations. So when I as a person of color speaking about my experiences with, racial biases in the community. I need people to listen. I don't need people to sit there and actually defend their discriminatory behavior. When I talk about me being a trans person, I don't need you to sit there and tell me that what I believe is wrong and what the way that I see my body is wrong, because the only person who knows you the best is you. And as someone who has spent hours upon hours researching and looking into these things and collaborating and talking with other people in the community, I do not need people to tell me what I feel and what my experiences are. I don't need people calling up people of color to tell me what my experiences are. I think the biggest issue is just the people who are not comfortable with being uncomfortable. But I also just think in this area in particular, it's just the accessibility to these kinds of facilities. It is very fortunate that the city of Casey are very open and very welcoming of First Nations people, and the artwork and the projects led by Indigenous peoples. I think that's something that I don't really see closer to the city, but I've seen that very prevalent with Bunjil Place and City of Casey, that they are very open to that, to celebrating First Nations people, which should be normalized absolutely everywhere. And reparations for Indigenous peoples does not end with just an acknowledgement of country or one exhibition or one showcasing of an Indigenous person. It's so much more than that, which City of Casey seems to be very committed to. So I think I guess here the accessibility is quite hard to get the right facilities and the right support as an LGBT person is quite hard. There's only one safe space down in the southeast that I know of, and that's quite hard to get to in Mentone. Otherwise, otherwise I haven't seen many LGBT specific safe spaces here. They're more like straight gay alliances or welcome to everyone kind of spaces. But aside from that, like I said, I just need people to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I need people to be willing to listen and learn.
What message, if any, would you like to give to others?
So the message that I want to give others is that your community and your people are out there. You just have to keep looking for it. It took me a very long time from, going to LGBT spaces in uni to going to local gay bars in the city. It took me a very long time to actually find my people and find that niche set of queer people who would accept me for who I am and embrace me and give me that sense of community that all of us really need. It's also quite a strange feeling because I've grown up with not feeling like there was a sense of community was there. Only up until last year, I actually felt like I was part of something. And as a queer person growing up in a mostly hetero cis normative area, it never felt like it was something that was accessible to me until I went down and seeked it. So that sense of community is really important, and it will come to you. It's also just important to me to be authentically and unapologetically me. So, everyone has their flaws, but I think it's important for everybody to not mute themselves and not minimize themselves, because not only will the right people gravitate towards you, but also you as queer people, as people of color, as trans people, taking up space is so important. It's not only about owning yourself and celebrating yourself. It's about letting other people know that you are present and that your acknowledgement and your visibility is just so powerful in a place that, in spaces that have tried to silence people like us for so long. It's important to be authentic, to be unapologetic, and to keep finding that sense of community.